Chapter 7: The Sacredness of Everyday Life. As we journey through life, it's easy to compartmentalize our spiritual experiences, reserving them for Sundays, special occasions, or moments of crisis. Yet, the true essence of living in divine incandescence is recognizing the sacredness embedded in our daily lives. Every moment, every task, and every interaction holds the potential to be a conduit of God's grace and presence. This chapter invites us to rediscover the holiness in the ordinary, to see our everyday activities not as mundane or routine, but as sacred opportunities for communion with the divine. Embracing the sacred in the ordinary. One of the most profound truths of our faith is that God is with us at all times and in all places. The incarnation of Jesus Christ, God becoming flesh and dwelling among us, underscores the idea that the divine is intimately involved in the ordinary aspects of human life. Jesus lived, worked, ate, and walked among the people, showing us that every aspect of our lives can be holy and infused with God's presence. Biblical foundation. Throughout the Bible, we see numerous examples of God meeting people in the midst of their everyday activities. Moses encountered God in the burning bush while tending sheep, Exodus 3, verses 1 through 6. The disciples were called by Jesus as they went about their daily work as fishermen, Matthew 4, verses 18 through 22. These stories remind us that God often reveals himself in the midst of our routine lives, transforming ordinary moments into holy encounters. The Incarnation, God in the everyday. The incarnation of Christ is a powerful affirmation of the sacredness of everyday life. John 1, verse 14 tells us, "The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us." Jesus' life on earth was filled with ordinary activities. He worked as a carpenter, shared meals with friends, and participated in community events. His presence sanctified these ordinary moments, showing us that daily lives are arenas for expecting God's grace and love. The spirituality of daily living. To live in divine incandescence means to cultivate an awareness of God's presence in every aspect of our lives. This requires a shift in perspective, where we begin to see our daily tasks and routines as opportunity for spiritual growth and connection with God. Prayerful living. Prayer is not limited to formal times of devotion. It can permeate every moment of our day. As 1 Thessalonians 5:17 encourages us, pray continually. This doesn't mean we have to be on our knees all day, but rather that we can develop a habit of turning our thoughts and actions into prayers. Whether we are driving to work, cooking a meal, or interacting with others, we can lift our hearts to God, offering our activities as acts of worship and thanksgiving. Practicing mindfulness. Mindfulness, the practice of being fully present in the moment, is a powerful way to experience the sacredness of everyday life. Jesus often withdrew to quiet places to pray and be present with his Father, Luke 5:16. By practicing mindfulness, we can become more aware of God's presence in the here and now, appreciating the beauty and holiness of each moment. This can be as simple as taking a few deep breaths and thanking God for the breath of life, or pausing to admire the beauty of nature around us. gratitude as a spiritual discipline. Gratitude transforms our perception of daily life, helping us to recognize and appreciate the blessings that surround us. Psalm 100, verse 4, exhorts us to enter his gates with thanksgiving and his courts with praise. By cultivating the habit of gratitude, we can begin to see even the most ordinary aspects of our lives as gifts from God. Keeping a gratitude journal where we regularly record the things we are thankful for. This can help us maintain an attitude of thanksgiving. Everyday acts of worship. Our daily tasks and responsibilities can become acts of worship when we approach them with the right attitude and intention. Colossians 3, verses 23 and 24 encourage us. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord, not for human masters. It is the Lord Christ you are serving. This perspective transforms even the most mundane task into opportunities for honoring God. Work as worship. Our work, whether paid or unpaid, is an important part of our lives and can be a significant way of serving God. Ephesians 2, verse 10 reminds us that we are God's handiwork, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do. By performing our work with diligence, integrity, and love, we can glorify God and serve others, viewing our work as a calling and a form of worship brings meaning and purpose to our daily lives. Serving others. Acts of kindness and service are tangible expressions of our faith and love for God. Jesus taught us that serving others is a way of serving Him. Matthew 25:40. Whether we are helping a neighbor, volunteering in our community, or simply offering a listening ear to a friend, these acts of service are sacred. They allow us to manifest God's love in practical ways and build His kingdom on earth. Celebrating life's simple joys. Finding joy in the simple pleasures of life is another way to honor God. Ecclesiastes 3:12 and 13 remind us that there is nothing better for people than to be happy and to do good while they live, that each of them may eat and drink and find satisfaction in all their toil. This is the gift of God. Celebrating the small joys like a beautiful sunset, a good meal, or laughter with loved ones acknowledges God's goodness and generosity. Transforming ordinary spaces into sacred spaces. Our homes, workplaces, and communities can become sacred spaces where we experience and share God's presence. By intentionally creating environments that reflect our faith and values, we can cultivate a sense of holiness in our everyday surrounding. Creating a sacred space at home. Designating a specific area in our home for prayer and meditation, as well as reflection, can help us cultivate a sense of God's presence. This can be a small altar with a Bible, candles, and other symbols of faith, or simply a quiet corner where we can retreat for moments of solitude and prayer. Regularly spending time in this sacred space can deepen our spiritual practice and remind us of God's nearness. Bringing faith into the workplace. Living out our faith in the workplace can transform it into a sacred space. This can be as simple as starting the day with prayer, displaying a meaningful verse or symbol on our desk, or showing Christ-like love and integrity in our interactions with colleagues. By being a light in our workplace, we can create an environment where God's presence is felt and His values are lived out. Building community in our neighborhoods. Our neighborhoods and communities can also become sacred spaces when we intentionally foster connection and build relationships. Hosting gatherings, participating in community events, and extending hospitality to our neighbors are ways that we can share God's love and build a sense of community. Acts 2, verse 46 through 47 describes the early believers who broke bread in the homes and ate together with glad and sincere hearts, praising God and enjoying the favor of all the people. Building community in our neighborhoods reflects this spirit of fellowship and shared life. The sacredness of everyday life is a profound truth that invites us to see our daily routines and interactions through the lens of faith. By embracing the ordinary as holy, practicing prayerful living and mindfulness, and transforming our spaces into sacred places, we can experience the divine incandescence that permeates every aspect of our lives. As we journey together through this chapter, may we be inspired to recognize and celebrate the sacredness of our everyday experience. Let us cultivate the deeper awareness of God's presence in our lives, finding joy, meaning, and purpose in the everyday moments. In doing so, we will truly live in divine incandescence, shining the light of Christ in all that we do. Living in Divine Incandescence by Angela Butch Chester. Copyright 2024. ISBN for digital 978-1304-300-515. Available on Amazon, Lulu, and wherever books are sold.